Yeah, just a lot of delays this year because stuffs, you know. Anyways, we are going down to 7i, no problem, Maddie. So what we've done is we've typed this all out along with the second column. And for our CAS, the reason why we want to type them and carefully. So if you look at 37 and 37, you wouldn't know who that is. However, you would, because if you look at, I typed it in wrong, 48 and 19. So if I look at 37 and 19, I go to this table here and I look for 37 and 19. That's this person here, M. Clark. Make sense? So say, for example, if I go to a random point, like say, for example, 2, 0, how sad, 1, none, played 2, 1, none of them. You would go to the data set and you would look for 2, 0. 2, 0. Okay, there's 2 of them who are 2 zeros, yeah? We've got 2, 0 here, but we've also got A. Morris here, A.R. Morris, who also has 2, 0. So in order to figure out which one's which, this one here is later on, yeah? So that's what, number 13? We look at our row, that's 13. Yeah, so we're talking about BC Booth here. Can I get a thumbs up if this makes sense? Arigatou gozaimasu. Hi, hi. Okay. So let's have a look at what we want to do here. It says construct a stem plot and a box plot. So not just one thing, we want 2 things. I don't know what that means, bro. Wakarimashita.
Understood. Oh my god.
Oh, wakarimashita, bro. Wow.
Oh wow. Whoopsie. I don't know. I haven't said it in, enough.
Wow. Wakarimashita. Okay, so do you remember how we did this? We have to open up a statistics plot. Click at the bottom and you want the played, because if you have a look here, number of tests played. Okay, that's what we're focusing on. Then we want a stem plot first. So what we're going to do, we are going to go to menu, plot type, and stem. Oh, we can't do a stem plot on here. We can only do a box plot, unfortunately. Okay. So you can see here, the box plot is nice like that. However, on this here, in order for us to do a stem plot, let's just do the box plot first, yeah? Because that's one of them. The stem plot is a bit different. What would we have to do for stem plot? Do you remember how? While we draw this out here?
Arrange the values.
Yeah, Can we do it? Can we do that on the CAS calculator?
I think so, in the list and spreadsheets.
Yes. But do we want to, since notice how here there's 2 of them, yeah? They're paired up. Do we want to sort it out, or would that jumble up everything on this page?
It would jumble up everything.
Yeah, so we've got to find another way to do it, yeah? Not another way, but maybe we don't want to do it on the same page, if that makes sense. So what we'll have to do is open another document, another page for it. Anywho, let me grab this picture. Sorry, there's like boxes all over the top of it. So what I would like you to do though, when you draw out a stem and leaf plot or box plot, sorry, is that, and this is like more of a skill, right? You want to label it as accurately as possible. Now remember here, if we wave our mouse over the top of it, it will show the values. So let me just grab those numbers there. Le one. Me. This value here is 1. Q1 is 3.5. Median is 24.5. Q3 is 38. This last value here is 77. And then the very outlier is 93. Okay, so there you go. Now, to continue with this box plot here, I want to expand it on the skill a bit of how to construct the box plot. What kind of calculation would you have to run separately on the outside? Because usually they'll say, draw a box plot and label the outliers. Okay. The main thing here is to consider outliers as well. So how do we actually manually figure out how to find our outliers?
What do you mean?
Like,
Like on the box plot?
well, with outliers, you need to know when it starts becoming an outlier, yeah?
Oh, I took my, so the upper fence and the lower fence. Yeah?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So we need to manually calculate the upper fence and the lower fence. We'll start with the lower fence, and then we'll find the upper fence. We do have formulas for these, yeah? And this is something
Yeah.
that you would probably want to highlight in your knowledge books. Okay? Very, very important. So please write it out. Let's calculate our lower fence first.
Is it Q1 take away 1.5 times 1 IQR?
No. Wait. Isn't it Q1 take away RQR times 1.5? Oh, wait, what? Oh my God.
Right, did you
Wait.
just say what Teresa said?
No,
What are
I
you
said the
doing,
opposite.
man?
I said quartiles take away IQR.
Now we start with our Q1, right? Which is here. And then we go down from there by 1.5 times the IQR.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then for the upper fence, you start at 3.8 and then you go 1.5 times IQR forward. So yes, Teresa, correct. And then Matt, okay. Yeah, same thing. If you go if you go IQR times 1.5, it's the same thing. Let's say our IQR is 10 just as an example. Yes, let's say it's 10. Minus 1.5 times 10 is the same as minus 10 times 1.5, isn't it?
No, I said quartile 1 take away, which would give you a whole nother number.
Yeah, quartile 1 take away.
Take away IQR.
Yeah, but which part do you do first? Odd mass, man. Order of operation.
Oh, wait.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh my. Well, okay. I'm just gonna
Yeah?
shut it up now.
Yeah, all good, all good. And man, you tried. That's all I can ask for. Remember bid mass or bod mass or whatever, order of operations. Multiplication comes first. Yes. My brain is not operating today. Don't worry, it's Friday. It's Friday when it's Saturday, Sunday, what? All right, Q1, we have 3.5. Just according to our box plot, we're kind of cheating here. I'm kind of working backwards. You can put in brackets if you want to, right? If that helps you, but you can put this into your calculator anyway. So 1.5 times, what's our IQR? How do we calculate our IQR? Interquartile range. Okay, so our IQR is Q3 minus Q1. Awesome. I don't want to put it right here, yeah? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off to the side, kind of like a side quest. Q3 minus Q1. So we got 38 minus 3.5. Now, if you're on your CAS, I'll show you here. If you're on your CAS, and let's just say you're on here, there's no need to open up a new doc for a calculator. Okay? Just press the button underneath escape. It opens up the scratch pad, and then you can do your mini calculations there, like the basic ones, yeah? 34.5, and then you can press escape. If you press escape, it will just go back to the normal document. So just learning how to use these tips and tricks here helps you in the long run, yeah? It'll save time, essentially. So we got 34.5. So this means here we got 1.5 times 34.5. Lower fence equals 2. So once again, if you're here, just open up your scratch pad because it's a small calculation. We got 3.5 minus 1.5 times 34.5. You can press Control Enter if it shows up a fraction. This is our lower fence. Damn, it's all the way down in the negatives. Remember, what are we talking about here? What do these numbers represent?
We are referring to the outlier.
The outlier, but what's the idea that's overarching all these numbers? All these numbers on the box plot, what do they mean? Like, what is this 3.5? What is this 24.5? What is this 7, not 77? What is this 93?
Games played.
Can you be a bit more specific? Games played. So I play Call of
Games
Duty.
played by the captains. Oh, test played. Sorry, test. My bad.
Instead of say tests played, how about you say number of tests played? Just to be a bit more specific, yeah?
Okay.
So can we have negative 48 games?
No.
Not possible. Okay, so that's all the way down here. That's your fence. So anything beyond that is an outlier, which is impractical, right? The next one we want to do is the upper fence. So that's Q3 plus 1.5 times IQR. I put the brackets in upon request, okay? But if you type it into the calculator, you don't need the brackets. So we know what our Q3 is, 38. Le plus 1.5 times IQR. We know what our IQR is already, 34.5. Please do this on your scratch pad. Scratch pad. The reason why I call it a scratch pad is it's like a little notebook. You know, we just jot down.
Isn't it called a
random
scratch pad
ideas.
anyway?
Huh?
Isn't it called a scratch pad?
Yeah. It is. right, so what's the value? Danny? Mr. Elisa.
I got 89.75.
Thumbs up, thumbs down, everyone. Anyone?
Wait,
Adele?
pardon, sir?
Do you agree with what Danny said in terms of his upper fence? He said
I wasn't paying
89.75.
attention, was it?
Bruh, you could have just kept quiet then. Why you gotta expose yourself like that?
I mean, is there a point in lying?
Yeah, no, I appreciate your honesty. So Danny got the upper fence because we want to be able to know where our cutoff point is on our box plot and to see why that is a 93, right? So that's why we had to calculate it. So usually in the SAC, right? And this is how we'll probably write it out. We'll be like, draw your box plot and state any outliers. If you want to state any outliers, you have to draw this, you have to write this up first to figure out your upper fence and your lower fence. Then you state your outliers. So if you have a look at, therefore, outliers are, and you would go back up to here and you would find a number in one of these columns here, because that's our data, yeah, that we're looking at. Which one of these points or numbers is higher than 89.75? Let's just say 90, yeah? And the person who had it, who has a number of games played, which is higher than 93, is higher than 89.75, is AR Border. They played 93 games. 93 test games. Have a look how stupid this is. Within 10 years, he played 93 test games. Football is life. So outliers are 93. Wait, is this line straight or not? Oh. Oh, wait, hold on. Is that straight now? Or should I trigger you? There you go. I'll do that just for you, Daddy. I'll duplicate it and then I'll. There you go. Triggered. Lol. So now we can draw out our box plot. All right. Number line. I'm not going to just write played underneath. I'm going to write number of tests played. Test games played. We've got 1, we've got 3.5, we've got 24.5, we've got 38, 77, and 93. So the way I usually show outliers is through an X or a cross. Okay, 93. I'm just marking the important points here. 38. Did I zoom in or no? Three 3.5 and 1. Draw up the blocks first. Le bloc. And then the line is after. Le okay. The okay. So there is our box plot. Yeah. Stem plot now. Now, Teresa, you said before we had to like sort it out, yeah? Let me go to the CAS. So we're in a scratch pad at the moment. Trying to get out of it. Escape. Now, we don't want to mess around with the original data, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to open another page, control page, and add another list in spreadsheets. So notice how it's blank now. What we're going to do is we're going to pull the same data, but we're only going to pull one column. So if we go up to this A here, let's see if we can actions. No.
Or you could do insert.
Data. Oh no.
Insert a column. Wait, what are you trying to do?
We're trying to pull the data from played.
Yeah, well, yeah. Click on insert column and then blah blah.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, I clicked insert column. Nothing.
Wait. Try now.
So if you go to the top and you type in played, as soon as you press the D, it will change to a bolded because it recognizes that, hey, we named this before. You have a look at 1.2. Yeah, we named it before. So it's already been named. We press enter. Notice now we can sort this out, okay? It doesn't hurt if we sort this out. So we go to the top, then we can do sort, okay? Notice before, if we were down on the numbers, yeah, if we try to do sort, that's not gonna work because you're selecting just one box. If you're selecting one box and you just wanna sort this one box, that's not gonna happen, yeah? So we wanna sort out the whole column. That's why we go to the very top. If we go to the top, that means you're sorting the column. We're sorting column A. Remember the brackets here with the after the letter, that means column A. Sorting A in ascending order. Okay. So you can see now, this is all sorted out. But if we go over to 1.2, oh no. Oh no, it sorts it out too. Clutch.
No, everything's gone.
Control Z. Control Z. Control Z. Undo, undo, undo. What do? What do? Play sort. Okay. So notice how we were able to pull out the data before. Go back up to the top and then you can type a different title for it. So if we write play sort and now we sort it out. Okay, that's going to sort this out. But because the titles are different, it's not going to affect the data over here. Does that make sense? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Okay, so we got to be careful about that because we don't want to screw up this part here. We're going to need it for later, yeah? So change the name, then you can sort it out. Now this makes it easier because we can build our stem plot now. So just having a look at the different classes, we might do it in groups of 10. Yeah, because it goes all the way up until 93. From 1 to 93. So with that in mind, we're going to do this. Features for the stem plot. Stem plot. We have stem. So always write the stem. And then we have the leaf, yeah? But I call it the stem and leaf, but honestly, you can just write stem. Over here, the title will be the number of games played. Test games. I forget. All right. And we've got to put a key or a legend as well. We had 1, yeah? So do we just write a 1 here like that? We want 1 test game played. Question mark. Yes or no? Excellent. Thank you, Force. We've got to put a 0 in the stem part. I'm just going to try to. There's going to be like blocks on the screen. Yeah, don't mind it. So you got to put 0 on the stem part. Right. But if anyone was to look at this, they would look at it and they'll be like, well, what the hell does this 0, 1 mean? So what are you going to have to provide alongside this stem and leaf plot? 1, 2, 3, 4. Key. Thank you. So the key here is 0/1 equals to 1. 1 test game. Just want to be a bit more specific like that. Okay, 1 test game like that. Just so you know exactly what the 1 stands for, okay? Because we can forget. 2. Yikes. Might be spacing it out too much. 1, 1, 1. 2, 2. 5, 5. 17. You want to try to keep it lined up, yeah? Ooh, thanks. I have not done. 30, 37, 9, 38. Seven. And 93. I extend this line down. Cool. Stem and leaf plot or stem plot completed. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thank you. Good, good, good. Okay. Thanks, guys. So, when you feel like you've answered the question, please read it again to just double check. Construct a stem plot, done. Construct a box plot, done. Of the number of tests played, yeah? Make sure you do it for the right data set. Otherwise, you'll do the whole thing, you look back and like, damn it, I did it for the number of games won instead, and then you're screwed. Okay? Now I'm thinking for the analysis part, I'll let you do. We'll focus on constructing the scatter plot and applying this knowledge here. I'll actually put, I wouldn't put this in one question like this. I wouldn't, 3 marks. I would make those separate questions. Really good questions, Reza. Like, how many marks would a question like this be worth? I would have broken this up into 2 parts, 2 questions, 1 stem plot, 1 box plot. But we understand that this is very time consuming. So sometimes we might provide you with a stem plot already and then just require you to do an analysis. In fact, what I'll do is I'll go through each question and give you an idea of how many marks each question should be worth. So a described question like this in our second one, it requires us to look at the shape, center, and spread and outliers as well. So we might provide 2 marks, considering how much you have to write, we'd approximate it to about 3 marks, 3 to 4 marks. Okay. And this last one here, who's Australia's longest serving captain on the databases? That one would just be 1 mark because it's an analysis question. And usually for the last question, right? It's a bit more of an extension question, like it's supposed to stretch your knowledge a bit. In fact, in Year 12 exams, you'll find that happen quite commonly, okay? Here we have to construct a scatter plot for the matches 1 and estimate the coefficient of R. Now, if we are constructing a scatter plot by hand and we want you to put in the plots, we would want you to do it on the CAS. That's part 1. So that's going to be worth 1 mark. Drawing it up will be worth 2 marks and plotting all the correct points. And the third mark, what would the third mark go to in this question here?
Estimate the value of the correlation coefficient R.
That's correct. So this would be worth 3 marks. The other argument as well is because when you type it in, that's going to take some time. When you draw it up by hand, or when you plot the points by hand, that's going to take some time. So that's why we want to give 2 marks and then the extra mark for that R value. It takes 2 seconds to find the R value, yeah? But the rest of the process takes a lot of time. So we can't try to keep in mind as well, like 1.5 minutes per mark. That's a lot to do there. So that's why we would award it 3 marks. Describe the association between matches. So, and outliers, if any, direction, strength, and form. What are we looking for here if we want to describe the strength, direction, and form? What idea is that closely related to? Was there a number that kind of gave us the idea?
The table that we had the colors in it and then you wrote the numbers next to it.
Oh, yeah, The table with the color, the numbers next to it. What? Which one, bro? Which one? No, not that one. I've got another suggestion here. So it was a good idea, but perhaps not quite. We got Pearson's thingy. Pearson's what? Teresa?
Table?
We don't need to look at the table. Like the table is not going to tell us how, if this is going to be, if this is going to show us correctly. Course says correlation coefficient. Do you remember? Oh, wait, is that the pad table you were referring to, Teresa? From -1 all the way to 1? With the R values?
Yeah. The
Ah.
association thingy?
Yes, yes, yes. Sorry, I didn't, that was a bit unclear, so I didn't catch it. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take this R value and then click up that correlation table, which was this one. And then based on that, you make your comments, okay? So that one would be 2 marks because we would award 1 to interpretation, and the second mark we would talk about the outliers as well, because you'll have to talk about the outliers. If you know how it says if any, if there are no outliers, then you have to say and there are no outliers. Just a simple sentence, just so you address this section as well. Yeah. All right. So notice how here you can't answer part B unless if you answer part 1. Okay. So if you can't do this first part here, you're screwed for the second bit. Fit a least squares regression line and write its equation in terms of played and won. We would give this here 1 mark. Okay. Write down the slope of the regression line and interpret it in terms of played and won. So remember, this is our B value. We would give that 1 mark. Maybe 2. Because you have to state the slope, the value, and then you have to interpret it as well. Determine the correlation coefficient R and compare to your earlier estimate. Okay. No, that's a silly question. We wouldn't ask a question like that. We might say, determine the coefficient of determination and tell us how. Okay, I'll write it down. Da, 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 da. Determine the coefficient of determination and interpret the variation in data with regards to the number of test games played and the number of test games won. So this is what we would probably ask instead. Oh, only so much space. Sorry, everyone. It just looks a bit dodgy. Okay. I would award that one there, probably 2 marks as well. 1 for the R square. 2 marks. Number of test games played, determination to the nearest percent. So remember yesterday we did that, okay? Do you want us to do the rest of the question for homework? Yes, please, Maddie. That would be lovely. Okay, so yes, we have to flick up yesterday's notes. I'm gonna probably, so please complete this for homework. In the last couple of minutes, we're gonna go through and we're gonna construct a scatter plot for this. So we've already constructed a box plot. You know what, we'll leave it there, okay? We'll go back to this table here and press Control Doc. Notice we want to go to data and statistics. We're going to construct a box plot. Sorry, a scatter plot. Now, it did say played is the EV. EV, so capital E, we draw 3 horizontal lines. That means the E is at the bottom. And notice here we had play sort as well. We don't want to put that one, we want to put the played one. So played is the explanatory variable and the response variable is 1. Because technically you have to play a game first, then you can win. You can't. Yeah, so the 1 responds to or is explained by the number of games you played. See here. Now we can put up the formula as well. We may as well do the analysis. Regression. EV cause RV effect. That's correct. So you have to create a cause first. You have to play the game first. I want to see if there's any other. Show. Lots of properties. Nope. I used to be able to put diagnostics. There we go. Aha. So menu settings. If you click diagnostics, what shows up? R squared, which is the coefficient of determination, which is what we learned yesterday, yeah? The reason why they put R squared is because sometimes it doesn't care if it's positive or negative, but we want to find our R value. All we have to do is square root this number here. So if you want to open up a calculator really quickly, what are you going to open up? Scratchpad, correct for. So you're going to do the scratchpad. Thank you, Danny, as well. And remember, to calculate the R value, you have to square root the R squared value. So square root of 0.84, which is 0.91. That's your R value. So R equals to 0.9, let's say 92, yeah? Because we want it to 2 significant figures. So there it is. But is it positive or is it negative? Positive. Because if we look at the correct Teresa as well as force, if we look at our graph, it's a line going up as we go further to the right. Okay. So make sure you double check your R value with your graph. I don't want you to miss out on that next year. Okay, so we got everything we need. How do we change if we wanted 3 significant figures? Arafat? I'm always going to pick on you, bro, for this stuff. Are you there?
You do fixed 3.
For 3 significant figures.
These significant figures. You do
So you go into menu.
menu and then you go to settings
Yep.
and then you go fix 3.
Is it fix 3? Fix
Oh
was
no, float.
float. What was fix for?
For decimal.
Correct. If they say correct to 3 decimal places, then you do fix 3, yeah? So have a look at the difference. Yeah? 3 decimal places. But if we want float 3, is there a difference between the two?
Yeah.
Yeah. But just be careful. It just seems to be the same. Yes, I'm going to copy that for us. Can you write this down as a note, please, everyone? Why no copy? Float is sig figs and decimal places is fixed. Thought I already wrote that down. Somewhere in the notes, probably. So if you can write these notes out again, flick through the notes that we've done throughout this whole chapter and only pull out what's important for you. Okay? That will be your homework over the weekend as well. If you know, all right. If actually,